Good evening, welcome to the new first year parents evening. Slightly different format this year, as we all well know there is a new normal in charge at the moment, so we've gone to a remote version of this evening, and I hope you've got your cheese and biscuits ready and a glass of wine, because usually we provide refreshments on the evening, so we've done it in the remote sense. So sit back and enjoy. My purpose firstly is just to introduce you to the new methods of teaching and how the classroom will work for our children. This is a standard classroom here. There are no more than 20 seats in the room. No class exceeds 20. The average is 12.5, so small group sizes is very, very helpful when teaching and trying to make a successful progression on objectives. The layout of the classroom, teachers at the front, quite traditional, all desks tend to be facing forward, and now they have to. In the classroom, the two main resources a teacher has are the whiteboard and the interactive board. So we'll have a little look at both. Each lesson always starts with an objective, and that becomes the title. That's what you're trying to achieve. So today, for example, we're going to understand the history around us. And normally we would split the lesson into three main parts. You'd have a starter, which introduces the objective and gives the pupils the theme for the lesson. The main body of the lesson, which is where the activities are undertaken. They can be group work, individual work, diagrams, Q&As, questions, presentations, a whole host of activities. And then we always finish with a plenary, which ties together the objective to make sure everybody's secured their learning. Other things to add, Google Classrooms is now a big part of our life at Kirkham Grammar School. Every lesson we teach is put into Google Classroom, so you can see exactly what they should be doing each week, and that's really useful if anybody's missed any work for a variety of reasons. And each class gets a code, so they'll need to access the code to get into that teacher's classroom. And homework's also put there as well. That's useful to remind the pupils what the homework is, and it also allows parents to check if they've done the homework, which I find as a parent very useful. So, and the date, of course, we can't forget the date. The other resource in the modern classroom is the interactive whiteboard. The new ones no longer have a projector, it's inbuilt into the screen, and this technically is like a giant iPad. And in this we can bring in the modern, innovative methods of teaching into the classroom. I've also got my university gown on, which is a sense of tradition at Kirkham. We wear such things for assemblies and more formal events, and normally I wear it for my first lesson with my new parents to make them feel like they are back at school. The lesson itself, the way it's broken down, so for example today, the first question I would ask you is, how old is the school? Well done, it's 470 years old this year. I don't know who said that, but you were right. 1549 we go back to. What was Kirkham like in 1549? Well, there was very little here, and I normally now do a tour of the school because the beauty of Kirkham Grammar is we have a museum on site. We occupy the original buildings at the front of school, but the original school site does go back to Kirkham Parish Church. We were located at the side of the church. So my lesson would start with a brief introduction, a starter to the history around us. I'd put the school back into the Tudor times, and then we would physically leave the room and go on a wonderful tour of the school, finding date stones and matching primary and secondary evidence together. Then we'd return to the classroom and gather our thoughts onto paper, so we do a Venn diagram capturing their sources, and then at the end we address the plenary and try and see if we'll have a better understanding of the history around us, and that would be a lesson completed, an hour and 5 minutes, and you would expect every pupil to have achieved the objective with a homework set. So that's how we operate each lesson by lesson in school. On the evening, normally you would have a lesson with me, a lesson with Mr. Taylor Mathematics, and a lesson with Mrs. Latham English, so you'd get a sample, and it would be a bit of fun. I do hope we can do this properly perhaps later in the year, we will invite you back in, but we thought first, as a point of contact to welcome you to Kirkham Grammar School, this introduction would help. So enjoy your cheese and biscuits and wine, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you.